I'm Kaylin.
And I'm Jacob, and welcome to the hottest new show in Hampton Roads.
We're talking hot rods, hot tips, and hot tech.
This is Techin' Out.
Welcome to our first episode, Techin' Out.
Whether you're a weekend tinkerer or already a pro, this is the show for you.
We'll show you just how fast can be.
The latest models coming your way.
DIY maintenance and repair tips.
And the hottest trends in accessories and gear.
How to choose your perfect car and so much more. We're revving up, but first we need to take a breath.
So when we come back, we're gonna put the pedal to the metal. Stay tuned.
If you have a decent paint job, let's just say you have the wrap on there for 5 years and you take it off, it's just gonna be like it's never been outside or been damaged or anything. It's like it's brand new.
Hey, welcome back to Techin' Out. We are outside on this fine looking day in front of two fine looking cars. What do you think, Kaylin?
I think they look great, but I like to know what's under the hood. But the whole look of the car is really the icing on the cake.
So what do you do if your car's kinda, but you have the heart of a race car driver?
Actually, there is a really easy way to soup up your car without breaking the bank. Check this out.
My name is Eric and I'm the owner of the Wrap Dojo, a custom vinyl wrap shop for vehicles and pretty much anything that vinyl could stick to. Vinyl wrap is basically a large sticker that you apply to a vehicle or a surface. There's plenty of options. You can get just regular color change, you can get camouflage, you can get chrome, brushed metal, I mean, you name it. Any type of surface can be duplicated. Like businesses put advertisements on the vehicle. You could print anything on the material and their logos, information, contact, and all that stuff, their social media. Also, you could change the color of your vehicle, and there's usually or typically 3 types of finishes. You got satin, gloss, or matte. Sometimes you could just do like a cut decal of a shape or lettering, put it on the vehicle, and then wrap right over it just so it looks like it's embossed. It's a pretty nice effect. It takes a lot of skill to apply. It requires a lot of heat, especially around some of the corners and edges. To be kind of courageous with the knife. I mean, one screw up, you got to replace a whole panel or an entire sheet of vinyl. You need paint for the vinyl to actually adhere to, but it actually protects the paint, and if it does get a nick in it or a rock hits it and it does damage the vinyl, you just replace the panel. If you have a decent paint job, let's just say you have the wrap on there for 5 years and you take it off, it's just going to be like it's never been outside or been damaged or anything. It's like it's brand new. Wrapping an entire vehicle, let's just say in a single color, takes anywhere from 2 to 4 days, depending on the size of the vehicle and what the customer wants and what the customer is getting on it. One of the most popular things to get done in my shop is racing stripes and also full wraps, full color change wraps. So one of the coolest cars I've done is probably sitting here in the shop right now. This is Jalen's car. It's a full chrome wrap. Chrome is very difficult to work with just because it's not as pliable and stretchable as normal vinyl wrap for other vehicles.
Getting your car wrapped, I think, was a better option for me because I like to go creative and be different from everybody else. As you can see, my car is a lot different. I'm in a car club, Street Predators, and we're all about cars and making them ours and doing our own customization, so I do recommend them to come to the Wrap Dojo, and some have come as far as Raleigh and all around the state. There are a lot of options, but I think mainly people come because they know that the Wrap Dojo does good work. You can see it's my car, he does really great work. There's not a lot of shops that can do chrome the way the Wrap Dojo has. People normally, when I'm driving at a stoplight, I'll get thumbs up. I've had old ladies come up to me and ask if they could take pictures. I've had policemen come up to me, ask if they could take pictures for their daughters or their kids. It's a good feeling knowing that people smile at your car and stuff like that.
I love wrapping vehicles for plenty of reasons. One, it's therapeutic to me, just working on it, just spending that alone time to myself and kind of quieting everything down and zoning out. Also, the gratification for the customer, just looking at the faces when they see their vehicle for the first time in a different look. Yeah, I mean, it has to do with cars, and I love cars. So if you want to change the look of your vehicle or protect your paint, bring your vehicle in and I'll take care of you.
That was so cool. You think they could soup up my dad's station wagon into a sporty sweet ride?
That would be incredible. Or maybe not, I don't know. But speaking of incredible, I hear you do some incredible things on the racetrack. When we come back, we're gonna check out what Kaylin does on her days off.
You're kind of on the edge of disaster, but controlling it all at the same time. So it's highly addicting and very fun.
Welcome back to Techin' Out, where all of our talk is autocorrect.
Ooh, I see what you did there. Well, while Kaylin's jokes may leave a little something to be desired, there is something that she really does shine on, and that's the racetrack.
Yep.
From what I hear, you're into drifting. And for those who don't know, what exactly does that mean?
Well, drifting is... And that's it in a nutshell.
Well, that looks fast and dangerous, and you do this for fun.
Oh yeah.
The Techin' Out crew had to see this for themselves. Check this out.
We're at a Spirit.jp drifting series event. They've been holding events for probably a year and a half now.
Drifting is a form of motorsport where you are out of control but in control, would be the best way to put it. You're kind of on the edge of disaster but controlling it all at the same time. So it's highly addicting and very fun.
If you had asked me 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you what drifting was. But just through word of mouth and coming to a couple Spirit events, I kind of started getting into it like, hey, that's something I really want to do.
In something like road racing, for anything, example, there's a start and finish line, and you are racing to that start and finish line. They'll time you, so you have a 1 minute lap time, and you're racing against other cars. In drifting, it's more of an art form where you're keeping the car on the edge of being out of control. And then as you progress and you get better and better, you'll have your friends or other co-drivers chasing you while doing that the same way. So it's more of an art form and more precision driving.
I came to my first drift event to see Kaylin. She was always the car person in the family. And I rode with her around the track. The first time around, I decided that I wanted to do this with her.
Seeing Kaylin out here drifting really inspired me because at the time it was something I really wanted to do and I didn't see a lot of ladies out there doing it. So I was a little bit intimidated at first, but I finally got the courage to actually talk to her about it. And she's a really big influence in helping me move from novice clinic to actually being out there with the intermediate people.
Being a female mechanic and driver doesn't really feel any different to me. We are getting more females coming to these drift events and all of that. Some of them have told me that it was because they saw me and they had the courage to do it because they saw someone doing it already. So I actually never feel different being a female.
It's kind of funny when we were growing up, is whenever I had car problems with my own car, I would call her for help.
I wanted to be a mechanic since I was probably 15. I got my first car and I started tweaking it a little and then I just ended up really liking it and I wanted to learn more, so that's when I went to school.
In the beginning, it did make me nervous because, she was slow, so it wasn't too bad, but as she progressed, she started getting faster around the track and there are cement barriers there. And she was starting to get closer to the barriers. That's what you're supposed to do, and pushing yourself. And when she wrecked for the first time, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but she was fine. The car, they fixed it. She went right in and was back out for the next event. So now I don't feel as nervous anymore because, she knows what she's doing. And so. Kaylin is the only female instructor.
She's worked her way up and showed real promise to wanting to help new drivers succeed, whether she's doing it at an event or here instructing at the skid pad session. A little bit of advice spoken in a certain way can go a really long way with a new driver.
I am an instructor. I'm instructing novice students, helping them work their way up to getting to the main course. So we're doing donuts, figure eights, things like that.
It felt amazing when I finally got my first donut down because I had honestly struggled with it for a while. My first time out here, I think I had gotten the donut a little bit, but not to the point where I felt really comfortable with it. But as I was starting to progress more and actually make it around, I wanted to get out of the car and yell, "Yay, I got it!"
When Kaylin is racing, I'm right there at the fence watching, and if nobody else is riding along with her, which is very rare, then I get to go on and ride along too, and it is fun.
I've actually found way more joy than I ever thought I would teaching, because I knew I was there at one point. And when I first started, we didn't have clinics like this to help us. So we kind of just were on our own on the track.
Yeah, I think a little more speed would help, and maybe feinting and keeping on the throttle while you're feinting.
Being able to do this and helping build up courage before you get to the main course, it feels so good. And then watching their first donut from the beginning of the day to the ending donut, or figure eight, or a mini course that we do. It's just really amazing to see everybody progress so good. It probably took me 4 or 5 events to actually start understanding what I'm doing, but ever since then I would be going like 20 miles down the straight, 20 miles per hour. Now I'm going 60 miles per hour down the straight. So I've grown really fast in a short amount of time, I would say, because I keep coming back.
Wow, Kaylin, I have a whole new level of respect for you.
Yep, I drive like a girl. Think you can keep up?
Definitely take a lot of practice. But however you drive, getting involved with cars can change your life.
It certainly changed mine. When we come back, we'll see how the auto industry helped one individual get on the right track.
You did it again.
I did. We'll be right back.
Being an automotive technician was a good choice. It definitely was a good choice. It's a skill that I know that I always have. It's a industry that's going to keep on growing.
Welcome back to Teching Out, where we're having such a great time learning so many cool things about the auto industry, and we're not even finished yet.
Hopefully we never stop learning, especially about cars.
That's true. And actually, the Teching Out crew caught up with someone who decided to learn enough about cars to make a career out of it. And it changed his future.
My name is Ian Kirkpatrick. I am an apprentice at Hall Automotive. Funny story, so I came here, I was doing nothing for like a year. I was just going to community college for a year and a half, doing basic education, basic school. My parents just wanted me to get a job. I didn't want to get back to the restaurant life because I hated it. I'd get off at 2 in the morning, I was a dishwasher, I was flipping burgers, it just wasn't for me. And my parents knew the head service people of the whole entire Hall Automotive.
He had mentioned, hey, give us a call. We were always looking for lot attendants. They interviewed Ian, and he was selected as a lot attendant here. Then he was moved up to Quick Lube.
The first time I met him, I wasn't really, I knew he was cocky, he had that cocky look about him, so I wasn't too impressed about him because I thought maybe he was gonna, be a lazy type worker and think he could get away with things. That's just the impression that I got from him in the very beginning.
I was on Quick Lube for almost a year, like 9 months. Some people are on there longer, some people won't be on there 2 months. It all depends of, what tech wants you or how many techs need. It's just a matter of time, really. I've never even changed oil in my life. First day on Quick Lube, and I'm racking up this car, and I'm like, hope this car doesn't fall down. I was like,
There's so much pressure, I think, on kids right now when they get out of high school that they have to have a career path planned out. Ian was 17 when he graduated, and it's hard to know at that age what you want to do.
I played tennis at high school. I was number 2 seed, and we went to the regionals. I started fading away from the tennis. I got real into music production, and I would sit there every single day outside of my room. I started off with a laptop and some headphones, and I was just making beats left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. That's all I did.
When he gets into something, he really gets into it, a whole focus on it, sometimes to a fault, because when you have that kind of focus, sometimes you need to remember that you need balance in your life as well. So he got into his music when he was in his early teens, and that occupied a lot of his time while he was in high school.
My grades were horrible. I had horrible grades. I didn't care about school. Yeah, I just kept on making music.
I think he always struggled academically. He is very competent, but Ian is the sort that when he wants to do well, he will do well. But if he doesn't, then he's gonna just sort of get by.
It's the fact of sitting down in a classroom. I'm like a go-getter type of person. If I'm gonna sit down, like I need to be doing something. At that time, yeah, I wanted to be a music producer, and I was getting a real big buzz within the city. I was having, a bunch of people hit me up to make music. I was actually on the mixtape of Soulja Boy. I made a beat for him, and that was kind of like the peak of like my music career. And then everything started kind of going. I started getting more trouble. Everything started to kind of go downhill. I made music with a close friend of mine. His name was Tony, and we started making music left and right, like every day. We were in the studio. We were up at 3 o'clock in the morning. We would wake my parents up.
His friend would come over on Friday afternoons and not leave until like Sunday.
He spent a lot of time with the family. We kind of felt like he was part of our family.
Yeah, senior year, when I started graduating, Tony moved out to Richmond, and Tony was shot and killed.
That had a huge impact on Ian and his outlook on life, and he changed almost overnight after that.
Sold all my music stuff the next week, gave my laptop to his family. I was in a deep depression for a while, and I was just like, dude, I don't know what to do with my life. I was like, this is just crazy, it's unreal. Because you're 18 years old, you feel invincible, and then that feeling of invincibility just, goes away.
My name is David Stiles, and I am the automotive technician.
If you don't know him, you think he's a rough guy. David's all about business. He's very friendly. The guys love him. He teaches well. He's a very good instructor. So everybody seems to gravitate to him and listen to what he has to say.
I've been here at Hall for 20 years. I came out of the VOTEC program as an AS student that placed me in a job at a very young age of 16.
He's my mentor, and he has no mercy on anyone. No mercy on anyone.
I thought Ian was a punk when I first met him. And he would jab at me and make fun of me and try to do all kinds of things like that, but I'm resilient and he doesn't know.
David, I think, was a pivotal influence on Ian. Ian looks up to David tremendously.
He doesn't want to hear any excuses. If you messed up, it's your fault, you fix it, you figure it out. If you can't figure it out, and then you come to him.
Absolutely, I feel like a big brother to him. I don't have any brothers myself, so he adds some value to my life. I like coming to work and I like being able to teach him because I feel like he takes away what I'm trying to project.
So once David Stiles took him under his wing, he completely changed. His attitude, his work ethic, everything about him, it was a refreshing thing.
From what I understand, Mr. Stiles has a work ethic that's equal to or greater than Ian's. So there was probably a good match there. And I saw a switch take place when we started talking about David Stiles at the dinner table. Stiles had a huge impact on Ian.
I see him the most. I probably see him more than my family. You know, I see him every day for 10 hours. His work ethic, his way of, you know, approaching the car, it's like he's definitely a respectful person. At the time, I wasn't as disciplined. I didn't really know much about, you know, how my brain works and stuff. I had to study myself throughout the time until like how I am now versus how I am 4 years ago is completely different. Yeah, being an automotive technician was a good choice. It definitely was a good choice. It's a skill that I know that I always have. It's a industry that's going to keep on growing.
Oh, I'm extremely proud of him. Just seeing what he's done over the last couple of years and the growth, and he's gone from, I think, a boy to he's a man. And sometimes I have to stop myself and realize that. But we're very, very proud of him.
I believe Ian has a bright future here in this facility. He's done great. Everybody here loves him. Everybody gravitates to him. And I think he has a bright future here. And I can see him being here for years and years.
You can walk in one day and it's just going to be a bunch of state inspections, oil changes, or the next day, you know, you have an engine that needs to be replaced. The bottom of the line for this business, you have to be on it at all times.
Amazing what you can accomplish when you put your mind to it.
And I love the fact that it's the auto tech industry that really helped him focus and start down the path to a better life. It's such an amazing opportunity for anyone.
It really is. Well, Jacob, that's it for this episode of Techin' Out, but you can catch it anytime on yourview.com.
And if there is something you'd like to see, maybe you have a great story or a cool piece of auto tech you want to promote, send us a message. We'd always love to hear from you.
But for now, keep your foot on the pedal and your eyes on the road. See you next time on Techin' Out.